Ever wonder why that fire of motivation you feel on Monday morning often just vanishes by Wednesday? You're definitely not alone. Millions start with incredible enthusiasm, only to watch it disappear. But what if the problem isn't you, but the way we usually think about motivation? What if that lasting drive isn't about luck, but about a system you can actually build? Let's be honest, we're surrounded by quick fixes. Hack your motivation in 5 minutes. The one secret to instant discipline. The truth? Most of that is like motivational junk food. It gives you a quick sugar rush, then a crash, and you end up feeling more defeated than when you started. Too often, people chase those fleeting moments of inspiration instead of building something much stronger. Real, deep-rooted motivation and solid discipline. This isn't about another short-lived burst of energy. This is your blueprint for building motivation that actually sticks around, the kind that helps you weather storms and keeps you moving towards your biggest goals. We're going to skip the temporary hype and get into proven, practical, step-by-step ways to create habits that last. We'll look at how to connect with what truly drives you, set goals that genuinely pull you forward, and build routines that make progress feel almost automatic. Step 1. Unearthing your why, the power of intrinsic motivation. The real foundation of motivation that lasts isn't about external rewards or pressure. It's something you dig up from inside yourself. This is what we call intrinsic motivation. That drive coming from genuine interest, passion, or a deep sense of purpose. Those quick fixes usually fail because they don't tap into this powerful internal source. They might give you a temporary boost, sure, but they don't fuel the kind of long-term commitment you need for big achievements. So, what is it really? Intrinsic motivation is when you do something because it's personally rewarding. The activity itself is the reward. Think about a hobby where you lose all track of time, or a subject you love learning about, even if it's not for a grade or a job. That's intrinsic motivation in action. Why is this so important? Well, when what you're doing lines up with your core values and what you find genuinely satisfying, you won't need someone or something else constantly pushing you. You're not fighting a lack of desire because the desire is already there, inside you. This internal compass guides you through challenges and makes the journey itself meaningful, not just the finish line. Research suggests that systems relying only on external rewards are less likely to create lasting motivation. Those that balance intrinsically motivating activities with positive feedback tend to support healthier, long-term motivation. So, how do you cultivate it? First off, ask yourself some honest questions. What truly matters to me? What activities make me feel alive and engaged? What problems do I genuinely care about solving? Journaling can be a fantastic tool here. Don't censor yourself. Just let your thoughts flow and explore. Second, link your goals to these deeper values. If your goal is to exercise more, don't just fixate on losing weight. Maybe your deeper why is about having more energy for your family or the mental clarity it brings you. Frame your goals in a way that truly resonates with you. Third, find ways to make necessary tasks more enjoyable or meaningful. If you're slogging through a tough subject, try to connect it to a real-world application you're passionate about. If it's a boring work project, focus on the skills you're building or the ultimate positive impact of what you're doing. Spark your own curiosity and encourage yourself to explore things related to your goals. That exploration can be intrinsically rewarding all by itself. Understanding and nurturing your intrinsic motivation is the absolute cornerstone of this blueprint. It's the sustainable energy source that those quick fixes can never, ever replicate. Without a strong why, the how will always feel like an uphill battle. Step 2. Crystal clear goals, your roadmap to achievement. Alright, so you've tapped into your intrinsic why. What's next? It's time to turn that inner drive into clear, actionable targets. Vague wishes like, I want to be more motivated or I want to be successful are like trying to find your way in a new city without a map. Motivation that lasts thrives on clarity and that awesome feeling of making progress, which is exactly what well-defined goals give you. What do we mean by clear goals? These aren't just fuzzy dreams. They're specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. You've probably heard of SMART goals. I will complete 2 certification courses in my field by the end of next quarter is a clear goal. I want to do better at work. Not so much. Research consistently shows that setting specific and challenging goals leads to better performance. In fact, studies suggest that people who actually write their goals down are significantly more likely to achieve them. Some studies say by as much as 33% to 42%. Why are they so vital for lasting motivation? Clear goals give you direction and keep you focused. They break down huge, overwhelming ambitions into smaller, manageable steps, making the whole journey feel less daunting. Every little step you achieve gives you a sense of accomplishment, and that feeling fuels even more motivation. They act as benchmarks to track your progress, making it tangible and reinforcing all your efforts. Seeing your goals in writing can provide ongoing motivation and serves as a constant reminder of what you're aiming for. So, how do you set them effectively? First, get super specific. Instead of, I want to get fit, try, I will exercise for 30 minutes, 3 times a week, doing mainly cardio. Second, make sure you can measure them. How will you know when you've hit the mark? Read more is vague. Read 1 nonfiction book every month is measurable. Third, be realistic. Make them achievable. Goals should definitely stretch you, but they also need to be within reach. Setting yourself up for failure is a surefire way to kill your motivation. If a goal is massive, break it into smaller mini goals to build momentum. Fourth, check that they're relevant to your why. Goals that connect to your intrinsic motivations are way more powerful. Ask yourself, how does achieving this goal tie into what truly matters to me? Fifth, put a time frame on it. A deadline creates a natural sense of urgency and helps you plan. I will save $500 for an emergency fund within the next 3 months. And hey, it's always smart to have a bit of a backup plan for when life throws you a curveball. This helps you keep your momentum and not get too discouraged. Don't forget to review and adjust your goals as needed. Life changes, and your goals should be flexible enough to roll with the punches. By setting goals this way, you're not just sitting around hoping motivation will strike like lightning. You're actively building a pathway for it to grow. Each clearly defined goal becomes a stepping stone, making your ambitions visible and, most importantly, attainable. Step 3. Engineering your environment and building. Powerful routines. Think about it. Your motivation doesn't just exist in a bubble. Your surroundings and your daily habits, they play a huge role in whether your motivation takes off or takes a nosedive. Instead of just relying on willpower, which can run out on you, you can actually design an environment and build routines that make the good behaviors easier and the not-so-good ones harder. This is all about making discipline less of a constant struggle and more of something that just naturally happens as part of your day. What does this actually mean? Well, engineering your environment is about consciously shaping your physical and social spaces to support your goals. Building powerful routines means setting up consistent patterns of behavior that help automate your progress, so you don't have to use up so much mental energy on discipline. Consistency is the name of the game. Routines help make positive behaviors automatic, which makes discipline feel easier over time. Why is this so crucial? Our environment is constantly sending us little signals, or cues, that trigger behaviors, often without us even realizing it. If your kitchen is always stocked with junk food, resisting temptation is going to be a daily battle. If your workspace is a cluttered mess, trying to do focused work will be a struggle. Routines, on the other hand, cut down on decision fatigue. When a positive behavior becomes a habit, you don't need to waste mental energy deciding whether or not to do it. You just do it. This frees up your brain for more complex stuff. BJ Fogg's research points out that behavior happens when motivation, ability, and a prompt all come together. BMAP. By tweaking your environment and routines, you're essentially making it easier to act and making those prompts more effective. So, how do you actually do this? To engineer your environment. First, spot and remove distractions or temptations that throw you off course. If you want to read more, put books in obvious places and maybe limit how easily you can access social media on your phone during your reading time. Then, set things up to make the desired behavior the easy choice. Want to exercise in the morning? Lay out your workout clothes the night before. Want to eat healthier? Stock your fridge with healthy options and maybe prep some meals ahead of time. Create visual cues or reminders. A vision board, or even just a simple sticky note with your goal on it, can keep it front and center in your mind. To build powerful routines, start small. Seriously, don't try to change your entire life in one day. Pick 1 or 2 key habits to focus on first. Maybe just commit to working on a task for 5 or 10 minutes. Try habit stacking. Anchor new habits to ones you already have. If you want to meditate, maybe try doing it for 5 minutes right after your morning coffee. Be consistent, especially when you're just starting out. It takes time for a new routine to become automatic. Aim for consistency, not perfection. Schedule your important tasks. If you treat your goal-related activities like actual appointments, they become non-negotiable. Try to tackle tasks that move you forward early in the day. Those early wins can set a really positive tone. And finally, experiment. Find what truly works for you. Some people are early birds and thrive on morning routines. Others are night owls. By consciously designing your environment and building supportive routines, you're creating a strong external structure that backs up your internal motivation, making lasting change feel much more within reach. Part 4. The power of small wins. Consistency over intensity. When we're chasing big goals, it's so easy to fall into the trap of thinking that only huge, intense efforts really count. We wait for massive blocks of free time or giant waves of inspiration. But here's the thing. Lasting motivation is usually built on the steady rhythm of small, consistent actions, not on occasional heroic efforts. And celebrating these small wins, that's absolutely key for keeping your momentum going and reinforcing that disciplined behavior. So, what are these small wins? A small win is basically any tiny step forward towards your bigger goal. It's writing 200 words instead of waiting for the inspiration to write 2,000. It's choosing a healthy snack over an unhealthy one. It's getting in a 10-minute workout when you just don't have time for an hour. These actions might seem pretty insignificant on their own, but when they add up over time, they lead to some seriously substantial results. Why is consistency so much more important than intensity? Well, for starters, small, consistent actions are way less intimidating. This makes it easier to just begin and get over that inertia that often comes with big, scary tasks. Second, they build habits much more effectively. Every time you repeat an action, you're strengthening those neural pathways in your brain, making the behavior more automatic over time. Third, each little win gives you a dose of positive reinforcement, that awesome feeling of success that fuels even more motivation. This creates a kind of upward spiral of progress and encouragement. Behavior scientist BJ Fogg emphasizes that positive emotions are what help you change best. And fourth, consistency builds resilience. When you're used to taking small actions regularly, a minor setback isn't as likely to completely derail you. You just get back to your consistent routine. How do you put this into practice? Break down your big goals into the smallest possible actionable steps. Ask yourself, what's one tiny thing I can do right now to move forward? Focus on the process, not just the outcome. So, instead of being totally fixated on losing 20 pounds, focus on the daily habits of healthy eating and exercise. Track your small wins. Use a journal, a checklist, an app, whatever works for you. Seeing your progress, no matter how small, can be incredibly motivating. And celebrate these victories. Acknowledge your effort when you stick to your plan, even in a small way. This doesn't mean you need extravagant rewards, just a simple moment of recognizing what you did. This really helps reinforce your willpower. Finally, don't let perfection be the enemy of good. If you miss a day or a small step, don't beat yourself up. Just get back on track with the next small action. Practice self-compassion. Understanding that slip-ups are part of learning can keep your motivation alive. The journey to lasting motivation isn't a sprint. It's more like a marathon made up of many small, deliberate steps. By prioritizing consistency and celebrating the power of those small wins, you build a sustainable rhythm that keeps you moving forward day after day. Step 5. Embrace productive discomfort and forge willpower. Let's talk about something that's super important for building lasting motivation and discipline, but it's something a lot of us try to avoid: embracing discomfort. Quick fixes love to promise results without any real effort, but true growth and achievement almost always hang out on the other side of what feels easy or comfortable. Learning to navigate and even use this discomfort is how you forge some seriously unshakable willpower. What exactly is productive discomfort? It's that feeling you get when you're pushing your limits. Maybe you're tackling a really challenging task, resisting a major distraction, or sticking to a new habit when your old self is screaming to go back to what's familiar. It's not about making yourself miserable for no reason, but about intentionally stepping outside your comfort zone for a bigger long-term payoff. Think about it. Self-discipline is often defined as the ability to trade immediate pleasure for long-term goals. Why is this so critical? Willpower is like a muscle. It gets stronger with consistent, intentional effort. Every time you choose the harder, more beneficial option over the easier, instantly gratifying one, you're building up that mental resilience. Avoiding discomfort, on the other hand, keeps you stuck. It reinforces the idea that you can only function when things feel good, which is a pretty shaky foundation for motivation. By learning to tolerate, and maybe even welcome, a certain amount of discomfort, you actually expand your ability to keep going. So, how do you cultivate this? Start with small, manageable challenges. If you're new to exercise, don't try to jump into an intense hour-long workout. Start with 15 minutes of something that pushes you just a little bit. Practice what you might call discomfort training on purpose. This could be as simple as taking a cold shower for a minute, making that difficult phone call you've been putting off, or working on a focused task for just 10 minutes longer than you feel like. Try to reframe how you see discomfort. Instead of seeing it as a signal to stop, view it as a sign that you're growing and making progress. It means you're pushing your boundaries. Focus on the long-term benefit. Remind yourself why you're choosing this discomfort. Connect it back to that intrinsic motivation and those clear goals you set. This helps the future reward outweigh the short-term urge for comfort. And don't aim for perfection. There will be days when you give in to comfort. That's okay. The key is to acknowledge it without beating yourself up, and then get back to practicing discomfort tolerance the next chance you get. Make sure to celebrate your wins when you overcome discomfort. When you push through that resistance, acknowledge that achievement. It reinforces the idea that you can handle difficult things. Embracing productive discomfort isn't about making your life a misery. It's about understanding that growth and achieving meaningful goals often mean stepping into challenging territory. By systematically training your ability to do hard things, you build the kind of willpower and discipline that those quick fixes can only dream of giving you. Step 6. Track, adjust, and stay accountable. The feedback loop for success. Building motivation that truly lasts isn't a set it and forget it kind of deal. Nope, it's a dynamic process that needs ongoing attention, regular adjustments, and a solid system for staying on course. Tracking your progress, learning from both your wins and your setbacks, and bringing in some accountability. These are all absolutely vital parts of a motivation blueprint that actually endures. So, what does this actually involve? Tracking means regularly keeping an eye on your actions and the results you're getting in relation to your goals. Adjusting means being willing to change your approach based on what your tracking is telling you, what's working and what's not. And accountability involves setting up a system where you're answerable for your commitments, whether that's to yourself or to other people. Why is this so crucial? Tracking gives you objective data on your progress. It takes you beyond just vague feelings and shows you, in black and white, how far you've come and where you might be falling a bit short. This can be incredibly motivating all by itself. Adjusting allows you to fine-tune your strategy. What worked for you at the beginning might not work so well long-term. Being flexible and willing to tweak your plan based on feedback stops you from getting stuck in patterns that just aren't effective. Even setbacks, when you look at them as learning opportunities, can help you refine your approach. Accountability significantly boosts your chances of sticking to your goals. Knowing that someone else is aware of your commitments, or even just having a formal system to report back to yourself, adds an extra layer of incentive. Research shows that sharing your goals with others can increase your likelihood of success. For instance, one study by Dr. Gail Matthews found that people who wrote down their goals and shared weekly updates with a friend had a 76% success rate. Another study indicated that committing to someone about your goals gives you a 65% chance of completing them, and this jumps to 95% with a specific accountability appointment. How do you put this into action? For tracking, choose a simple method that you'll actually use. This could be a journal, a spreadsheet, a habit tracking app, or just checking off tasks on a to-do list. Track both your actions, like, did I do my 30-minute workout today? And your results, like, how am I feeling? What progress am I seeing towards my weight loss goal? Review your progress regularly, maybe daily for small habits, and weekly or monthly for your bigger goals. Studies suggest those who review goals more often tend to see better results. For adjusting, when you review your progress, pinpoint what's working well and what's not. Don't be afraid to change your tactics. If a particular routine just isn't sticking, try a different approach. If a goal feels too overwhelming, break it down even further. View setbacks as feedback, not as failures. What can you learn from them? How can you use that information to make your plan even better? For accountability, find an accountability partner. This could be a friend, a colleague, a mentor, or a coach who you can share your goals and progress with. Join a group of people who have similar goals. This might be a fitness class, a writing group, or an online community. Set up some self-accountability rituals, like a weekly review, where you formally assess your progress against the goals you've written down. By creating this feedback loop of tracking, adjusting, and staying accountable, you transform your motivation journey from a random wander into a guided, purposeful path. It ensures you stay engaged, responsive, and ultimately, much more successful in building motivation that truly lasts. All right, that was a lot, so let's quickly pull it all together. The core pieces of our blueprint for motivation that actually sticks. First, we dig deep to find your powerful intrinsic why. Second, we set those crystal clear, actionable goals. Third, we get smart about engineering our environment and building routines that support us. Fourth, we tap into the incredible power of small, consistent wins. Fifth, we learn to step into productive discomfort to build real willpower. And finally, we create that essential feedback loop through tracking, adjusting, and accountability. This isn't just a bunch of ideas, it's a real, actionable plan. So, what's one small step from this blueprint you can put into action today? I'd love to hear your thoughts and any challenges you're facing. Share them in the comments below. Let's learn and grow together on this. If you found this guide helpful, go ahead and hit that like button, and make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss out on more strategies to help you nail your biggest ambitions. Building motivation that really lasts isn't about stumbling upon some magical quick fix. It's about systematically putting together a solid foundation of purpose, clarity, supportive habits, consistent effort, resilience, and smart adaptation. This blueprint gives you the framework, but the real power? That comes from your commitment to apply these principles, day in and day out. It won't always be a walk in the park, but by focusing on these proven methods, you can cultivate the kind of deep motivation and rock-solid discipline you need to not just chase your dreams, but to actually catch them. The journey to lasting motivation starts right now. Hope you enjoyed this. Comment below on what helps you to stay motivated and going. Sometimes we all just need a bit of motivational tips from others. Please make sure you subscribe to our channel. We will be providing many more tips and tricks.